you want?
It does seem to me that you've made rather a mess here.
Darren's dragon has taken to wing. The High Tower host will be unstoppable.
For we then, peace will be restored.
Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, we'll be doing a review for House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 7, The Red Sowing. Before I get into spoilers, man, oh man, did a lot of stuff happen in this episode. A lot of things that are going to be very, very much impactful for the finale next week. I'm very excited. We get some really cool action sequences. I'm going to tell you there's a lot of looking at dragons this episode, and they look fantastic. Whether it's in the caves or out in the light, the team really nailed the aesthetic. There are some interesting choices as well, and I think that everything will definitely come together. It's going to be such a great big episode next week that I can't imagine what's even going to happen. But I'm very excited. I really like where we're going with the story, and I really like what's happening. So we're gonna get into spoilers. So if you haven't seen the episode, make sure to go check it out before you keep going forward. So you've been advised. Spoilers ahead. All right. So we pick up where we left off last week. Rhaenyra had received word that there was a new dragon rider. Somebody had claimed sea smoke, and now we, as the audience, knew that this was Adam of Hull, but of course Rhaenyra didn't. So she goes. They confront each other on the beach. This is where I was saying some of the dragons just out in the real sunlight. They look very well done, and of course, great performances by both the actors, because it is probably very difficult to act as if a dragon is there, right? Even though there's nothing there. I like to know, and I'm gonna check out the little series that they have on how the season was made, because I want to know how are the actors working to ensure that they know, like, the eye lines where the dragons are supposed to be, and kind of how all that happens. From the commentary at the end, and really the scene itself, it really looks like a Western showdown, right? Each of the dragon riders ready to aim and fire, but of course we know that Adam of Hull is not really looking for a fight. He's looking for a place to belong, so he immediately bends the knee and accepts Rhaenyra as his queen, and he will help her in her mission. We also see that Alicent is having her wounds tended from last episode. She's going through a lot emotionally and mentally. We also catch up with Jasper, so Lord Jasper and Lord Larys, talking of sea smoke. There are whispers about that he has a new rider, but will this mean that they'll have those news reach Aemon? That's really where they decide not to tell him, because it's very unproven. So they don't want to anger him anymore. We do see that the knights that started the riot in the last episode are being sent to the wall as punishment. They call this mercy. They call Aemon merciful for this. We once again see that Rhaenyra skips the meeting with her council to go talk to Mysaria. Now, obviously, we've seen that Mysaria has earned Rhaenyra's trust as her advisor. So even though she has a full council, they continue not to really have. I think that's where I could see Rhaenyra's downfall, the council turning against her. So we'll see how that plays out. We also check in. As Rhaenyra brought back Adam, Corlys finally goes to talk to him, but it's really a very quick, short scene, but I think it was definitely very impactful. Adam was looking for recognition and a place to belong, and Corlys kind of gives him a nod, like he, without so many words, kind of letting him know that he is proud of him. We go over to Harrenhal now, where we know that the previous Lord Tully had passed. So the new young Tully that we met a few episodes ago shows up with the River Lords to talk to Daemon. I really like this little Oscar Tully. He's got some fight in him. He's got the spirits. He's got a little fighting spirit in him. Especially when talking to Daemon, like they go to address the River Lords, and even though that Oscar Tully is definitely very much intimidated by Damon. He does not back down. He rises up for the occasion, and he, although pledges allegiance and his armies to Damon, it will come at a price, and the price is that the Blackwoods must be punished for their crimes. So they do end up. Damon ends up killing the main Blackwood that he had originally sent to commit all those heinous atrocities. And then the River Lords then after that they do choose to abide by their vow, as their ancient traditions dictate. Um, we then see Damon also hallucinating Viserys again. He is in like his most sick state in this last hallucination that we see. It's fun to see Patty Considine again. At the end of the episode and the after show or the after little credit thing, they do mention that it was Patty's idea, that he was in that physical condition where he's just very much worn out, almost close to death, asking Damon if he really wants the crown. We also check in with Aegon. Physical therapy is not going ideally, and this is all kind of being pushed by Lord Varys. I think he wants him to be better so that he can take back the power, so that Aemon has to step down and things kind of go back to the way he had arranged them. As you know, Aegon is a lot easier to manipulate. They've all found out than Aemon. Um, Corlys also goes to visit Alan and fills him in on of course everything that happened with his brother. And we hear something really cool. Like a few episodes ago, Corlys offered his granddaughter to be the heir of Driftwood, and she mentioned that the heir of Driftwood must be of salt and sea. She's of fire and blood. But Alan, as they finish their conversation after Corlys gives them a mission, he says that he wants for nothing. He wants to be in the ocean. Unlike his brother, he is of salt and sea. So this definitely feels to me like they are setting him up to become the true heir, or be appointed as the true heir of Corlys, for Driftwood or Driftmark. I don't know. I don't remember what the town's called. We do see Rennie and Rhaenyra's kids leaving the Vale, but she kind of goes in her own direction. Rhaena has seen that the other dragon is around. I believe they call him Sheep Stealer. So we'll see. That doesn't pay off this episode. I think they're going to leave it for the last one. Then we also see that Alicent chooses to go to the woods. I call this a spa. We'll talk about that more in a second. And then also, Jay's, after everything that's happened, she's heard of the plan to bring all the Targaryen, all the people that are Targaryen heirs, even if they are lowborns, to bring them to try to be dragon riders. Now, this worries Jace, because of course, he's not a true descendant. Although nobody cut my tongue off, please. He has been proven, and we've talked about that. And although it's like something that goes unsaid, we know his true parentage. So, but Rhaenyra sends a message to King's Landing via Mysary's little, message service. We see that Ulf gets the news in the in the bar. We see that Hugh gets the news about it and talks about it with his wife, and we see just a whole slew of people from King's Landing that seem to have some kind of connection to the Targaryen bloodline, all leaving to Dragonstone. I called it when we go back to Alicent, and I call this that she goes to a spa because she's just camping out with one of the knights, and then she goes to the lake. She's trying to clear her head. She's definitely going through a lot of stuff, especially after the last episode. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with Alicent, but Olivia Cook is really, really doing a great performance, which just fantastic stuff. Then we see that Rhaenyra talks to all the people that she's gathered with the Targaryen blood, to let them know that she has taken them there. She's called Vermithor over. Vermithor is the second largest dragon after Vhagar. So he's pretty much up for grabs, right? These are auditions for Dragon Riders once again. But Vermithor is not going easily. There is a slaughter of all these people, but eventually Vermithor does accept Hugh as his dragon rider. In the meanwhile, Ulf had been kind of stumbled around the caves trying to escape from Vermithor. He stumbles into Silverwing, and they also bond. So we now have two new dragon riders, and then we also had Adam at the beginning. So three new dragon riders. All of them pretty much seem to be loyal at this point to Rhaenyra. We go back to the small council in King's Landing as they are interrupted by the sounds of the alarms that there is a dragon riding by now. At this point, Aemon doesn't know that Sea Smoke has a new rider, so they all just kind of figure it's probably Sea Smoke with his new rider. But Aemon rides out to Vhagar and chases the dragon, but we see that this is actually Ulf, who is riding Silverwing. And it's really fun scene with Ulf like learning how to ride. It reminds me like Ulf shows like this joy in his face like the first time flying. It reminds me a lot of the scene in Man of Steel where Superman learns how to fly. Just that performance, that joy that comes through the screen of like this person being able to fly for the first time. So Aemon chases with Vhagar all the way to Dragonstone, but then of course he has to turn around as he realizes that he's outmatched, he's out dragoned, and then we end up with a really cool shot of Rhaenyra now with her dragon army. We see Syrax, we see Sea Smoke, we see Silverwing, and we see Vermithor. I think we see all four of them. But yeah, really cool shot. Great performance there by Emma Darcy in that last shot. Just like intensity and the look. It's fantastic stuff. So the preview for next week looks bonkers. It's going to be an insane finale for season 2. I can't believe we are already done with season 2 after next week. So if you've seen this episode, let me know your favorite moments. And of course, make sure to stay tuned because we have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.